I am very grateful and excited to share my views on earthquake hazards in Jammu and Kashmir. This would have been impossible without the kind efforts by Cash Grab through their popular program, the LOLC.
Salam Kashmir, Cash Graph presents LOL Cut, bringing legendary stories of Kashmir. So keep watching.
Hello and welcome to all of you. This is Afroz. I am from Brunei, which is a small country in Southeast Asia. I work as an assistant professor of structural geology at University of Brunei, Dar es Salaam. I am from Kashmir, from Anantnag, which is also known as Islamabad. And as a child, I was fascinated by mountains. And the little memory that I have is that when earthquakes used to occur, or you can hear about earthquake stories, and then the people used to tell me that there are two bulls which will fight and you get earthquakes. So maybe these stories are still popular there. So therefore, I was, apart from the earthquakes, I was fascinated about why are these mountains there. And as per I understand, there was no background that was given in schools about geology. We had geography, but not geology as a course. So my journey started with that background, and I did my bachelor's from Aligarh Muslim University, master's from there, then MTech from IIT Kanpur, and then PhD from Australia, and so on and so forth. So I'm now here, and I have done some work in Kashmir region, which I'll be talking to you shortly. So the image that's in front of you has a big red line, as you can see, in front, which is called the main Himalayan frontal thrust. So it's a fault. In geological terms, a fault is a break. Any crack which breaks, has a little bit of displacement, is called a fault. So this is a major fault. In other words, whole of the mountains that you see on the other side, on the north of this line, they are sitting on this fault. In other words, that fault is like that. So everything on the top is sitting on it. And then we have this Karakoram fault, which is a strike slip fault. The displacement is like that. And then we have Chaman fault, which is again, it's called a strike slip fault. So these are, and we have Jahlam fault. So these are some of the major faults in this region. Now, why are they there? The red dots that you see on this image, in fact, different colors that you can see, the filled circles. These are all earthquakes. They're all major earthquakes in this region. As you can see, that they're more concentrated. In fact, they're dominantly on the north of this red line, and you go to the south of this red line, there are not many of those dots. The reason for that is because India is rigid. Okay, just like in a loose term, we can say that, for example, India is very old, and in terms of geology, it is very old. So when you have really old old terrains, old, cold, and it's not active, whereas Himalayas are very young and active. Therefore, what we have the frontal fault, right? So this entire region is coming like that. Why? Because India is pushing. Now that's very important to know. See, India is pushing like that, and therefore when it's pushing, see, these are rocks on both sides. So when it's pushing, it creates friction. Now, how long that friction is going to handle? As long as these rocks can handle. So it depends on the strength of the rocks, right? So as long as the rocks are stronger, see, now it's pushing, but it's not breaking. So it's going to break when that strength is going to overcome. And that is the time that we have at the moment. So at the moment, they are in this stage where the rocks are storing. See, the rocks are getting strained, and that strain is the deformation that these rocks are undergoing. And when there will be a limit to that, it's going to come out. So therefore, it is certain that there will be an earthquake in this region. And you have to be really concerned about that. We had two major earthquakes in the past. For example, you have 1905, Kangra earthquake, which is on the right south of the Kashmir Valley in the northeastern side, southeastern side, northeast, yeah, southeast. And then on the northwestern side, we have Muzaffarabad earthquake, 7.6. So the two dots, and in between, there is actually the strain, as I said, has to build up. Therefore, there will be an earthquake in future. We know that it's going to happen, right? So, as I said, that the major cause of that is because India is continuously pushing, and that's why earthquakes are there. Now let's go and look at the recent earthquakes. So the image that's in front of you, you have these red dots there. Those red dots are the recent earthquakes from last 1 year. And as you can see, they're again very closely connected to what we have seen, I would say, similar to what we have earlier, that's Kangra and Kashmir. So they are mostly concentrated there, indicating that there is strain which is building up, and it gets released slowly. Sometimes when it can actually get released in a big event, and that can happen anytime. So this is a recent data from one of the prominent professors, Roger Bilham. So what he did, he actually compiled all the information that we have about the earthquakes in this region. For example, in 2005, you know about that earthquake. We lost more than 80,000 people in Muzaffarabad. And we have in Kashmir, there had been 1885, 1555. These are the historical earthquakes, right? Maybe your grandfathers, no, that's like 1885 is very old. So 1555, those earthquakes have occurred. So the black areas that you have seen in front of you are the areas where the earthquakes have occurred. In other words, when earthquakes occur, this much area has ruptured. Ruptured means, it has actually broken under ground or at surface. And what you can see between 1555 and 1905, there is a gap. So that gap, according to Bilham, can actually get filled in an earthquake which can be as big as 7.8, 8.2, 8.4. So in other words, it can be more than 7, which is going to be disastrous for Kashmir. So you can't avoid it. The only thing that we don't know is that we don't know when it's going to happen. But we know it's going to happen. Apart from what Bilham says, my own work indicates that there is actually a fault which goes through Kashmir, which is also quite a big fault, can actually host magnitude 7 earthquake very easily. So therefore, there is absolutely no doubt that we will not have an earthquake. I don't think there will be any scientists who are saying that there will be absolutely no earthquake in this region. We know that earthquakes are occurring. It's called forecasting. We know, as you can understand yourself, you've been pushed. You think about that. You're pushing your this car slowly. It's gonna fall. Ultimately, it's gonna, have some deformation. So we know that it's gonna happen in this region. You have to be very, very concerned about that. Therefore, what should we be doing? We should actually prepare for that. Build your houses according to the seismic regulations, according to the codes that are required. You need information, you can contact me, or you can contact, how we have to build earthquake-resistant structures. I think what we need is that we need to build a culture of understanding about earthquakes, okay? These are hazards, and we have to face them. So, and we can't avoid them. It's absolutely no way that you can avoid. You can't ask Indian plate to stop. No, you can't. India is on a journey to the north, so it's continuously doing that for more than 50 million years, right? It's been going on from a long time back. So now that's one story. The another important story that I want to tell you that don't be scared of earthquakes. Now why? Because earthquakes are good. Now then you'll be like, this guy is like, Now earthquakes are good, and I have actually an article which is going to come soon, hopefully, where I argue that earthquakes are good. Now why are they good? Think about that. If there was no fault, your land will not be up. So in other words, you cannot form this basin, the Kashmir basin, or any area in that region if you don't have faults. And faults are avenues to release energy, right? You get an energy released by faults. So you have creating like this, and faults are releasing that energy. If this was locked for a long time, more than like 2,000-3,000 years, nothing is happening. And what is going to happen now? Big. the whole area is going to go. I mean, that's also possible, right? So in other words, the faults are helping us to release energy systematically. So in that case, they are really helpful for us. And where on earth are not faults? Are everywhere, right? In fact, we know, for example, as a geologist can tell you that faults are responsible for gold formation of the gold. Faults are responsible for formation of minerals, for many ore minerals that we use, and faults are responsible for groundwater resources, for oil formation of like the trapping of the hydrocarbons. There are many jobs that faults do. So therefore, faults are not bad. They're really good for us. The only thing that we need to understand is that how to live with earthquakes. That's the message that I want to give you. That faults are important for our life. They are important for our survival. To be, if you want me, I can give you the whole lecture on that. They are extremely important for our survival. If you talk about how the earth got evolved with time, and therefore we have to be really responsible about how to understand faults. All right. And then we'll know how to live with faults as a family on this planet. That's called blue marble. Okay, take care and all the best.